Good day, everybody. This is Phil the Kaiju King from my collection room in Greater Cincinnati. Today I'll be going over the newly released X Plus 25 centimeter Godzilla 1964B from the classic movie Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster. I went standard on this figure. I just felt I wasn't feeling the mini figures that was the option, and to me there was a big price difference between the two for mini figures, and I just went with the Godzilla solo. So, but it's a pretty awesome figure. We'll bring him forward right now, and here he be. The X Plus 25 centimeter Godzilla 1964 B suit. The standard edition, like I said, I went standard. This movie is one of my favorites in Showa, probably in my top 5 for sure. Main reason being is the introduction of King Ghidorah. This is the beginning of King Ghidorah. First time you see him, and witness the power and the ferocity of King Ghidorah, so it's pretty cool. Also, it's the return of Rodan after, 8 years, I believe, being gone, so it's pretty cool, the movie, and of course Mothra's in there too, and Mothra had returned directly with from the previous movie, Godzilla versus Mothra, so, it's a big kaiju battle in the film, and I love the movie and the storyline of the film. And it's definitely probably my top 5, I'd say, for sure, in the Showa era movies. And it is during the golden age of the Showa era, all the 60s films. I'm particular to all the Showa though, so even the 70s films I love, so I have to be honest, but there's as much good stuff in the 70s as the 60s in my eyes, so I'm more reminiscent of the 70s stuff, the late 60s and 70s. I'm more or less from Ghidorah. The movies I remember the most are Mechagodzilla, Ghidorah, Terra Mechagodzilla, Megalon. Them 4 is what I recall the most, watching a lot. I guess they were the ones on my TV in my area, because those are the ones I really remember watching the most. So I'm really partial as much to the 70s as the 60s even. So, but I love the movie. I love the Godzilla in the movie, and pretty much it's the 64 suit with some minor adjustments. In my eyes, the biggest adjustment was in the head, and I don't think the eyebrows are quite as pronounced as the original 64, and then the jaw and everything is wider, and maybe not quite as long, but it's definitely wider. The mouth is wider, in my opinion, anyway. But to me, that's the biggest difference between this and the original 64 suit, is the adjustments they did to the head of the suit. But it's still a quality thing, and he's really upright. And honestly, this figure reminds me of the scene in the movie when him and Rodan and Mothra is talking to them and trying to get them to cooperate with each other to defeat the real threat, which is Ghidorah. And this just reminds me, the position and the pose and the way he's kind of looking to his left, it reminds me of them seeing the whole deal there when Mothra's trying to convince them to work together. It just reminds me of that whole deal. That's where I take this from. When I see it, I think of that scene. When they're all talking, and Godzilla's kind of looking at Rodan and jibber jabbering and stuff. It's just pretty. That's what it reminds me of. Pardon my dog; she's crazy. As far as this figure goes, it's really nicely done. The overhead, the footprint, the tail is pretty much, it goes straight back. It goes down, touches level with the shelf, and then it goes up, curls up, but it's pretty much straight back. So the footprint is, tail's pretty straight back to him, but he's a 25 centimeter figure, so he doesn't take up quite as much room. He'll fit on the shelf just fine. The tail's nicely done, and all the nice tree bark skin and the charcoal gray coloring and all that. Really nicely done. The short little spikes on his tail have some slightly grayish tones on them, which is cool. Of course, dorsal plates are all nicely done. The three major rows and then 2 little rows on the outside. Yep, and that is right. I've heard people say this. You can even see the zipper indentation on the back in between the lines of dorsal plates that signified the zipper where Haru Nakajima would get in and out of the suit. The dorsal plates are nice. They have the nice texture on them, the bumps and the textures. The inner parts are dark grayish black, and then the outer parts are lighter gray. It's really cool, nicely done. Of course, the toenails, the fingernails, finger claws, toenails are all like a dull bone gray, bonish, a dull whitish gray bonish color. Finger, claws, and toenails both. Of course, he has 3 toes on each foot, and really nicely done. Nice details on the nails on the hands and the feet. Nice tree bark skin indication on this. It is really nicely done. The 25 centimeters, my favorite used to be the 71, but I mean this one's even better than the 71, I think. And the 71 was my favorite for a while until that 65 came out, and now this one, I would say he's better than even the 71 too. Maybe they'll revisit a 71. I'd like to see a 30 centimeter 71 because X Plus has really stepped up their game a lot. But I like his pose is really straight up, and that's pretty cool. His head is slightly cocked to his left. Like I said, it's like Rodan's over here and he's kind of looking at him. And when they're having their big conversation, there's Kaiju Summit on trying to get together, which is funny. But like I said, he's got the 64 eyebrows. I just don't think they're quite as pronounced as the original 64. They're a little bit not as pronounced, the eyebrows. The eyes are white with black pupils, and then there's a little white dot in the black pupil. Pretty cool. He's got that slight snarl on the upper jaw, like the 64, but not as pronounced. It's there, but it's not as pronounced. I think that's one of the differences they did to the head. Like I said, I believe it's wider and a little bit shorter, but it's a little bit wider as far as the mouth and the jaws. Nice nose detail there. He doesn't look as derpy to me as some of them, in my opinion, when you look at him. Mouth-wise, he's really nicely done. Teeth, I think the teeth on this one, and especially the teeth, are better than the 25 centimeter 64. They're just laid out better and they look more accurate, in my opinion. Tongue's really nicely done and visually sculpted. Nice pink color and everything. Really cool. This is a nice figure, and I'm happy with this standard. Like I said, I just prefer this over the cost difference between this and the mini figures. It just wasn't worth it to me. All right, we'll go on to some size comparisons, and we'll do that right now. All right, everybody, I'm back, and I've got the whole gang here, barely on this thing. The whole Ghidorah, the three-headed monster crew, minus this Mothra is the 30 centimeters, so we need a 25 to go with this whole set to complete things, but that is the 30 centimeter Mothra larva. But these all look pretty good together, though, I must say. It's pretty cool that we've got 3 of the 4 in scale, and we just need that Mothra larva to bring it all together. We got the King Ghidorah 64, Rodan 64. They all look good together and they scale well, I think. Alrighty, let's do another size comparison right away. Alright, now I've got the 25 centimeter Godzilla 65 and this Godzilla 1971 25 centimeter line. Yeah, it's just the details in these two are much crisper than the 71. The 71 was my favorite 25, and then they put these two out, and to me these two trump him, but I still love him just the same, because this is my favorite, one of my favorite suits. The 68 through 72 is tied for my favorite suit, so I have an infinite love for this thing. So, but yeah, they the details in the 64 and the 65 are definitely crisper. You can see it in the tree bark skin, especially, in my opinion. But nonetheless, the 71 is an admirable representation. Alright, I'll do one more size comparison real quick, and let's do that right away. Alright everybody, final size comparison is the 25 centimeter Godzilla 99 standard edition, just recently released, X Plus. This here is really good too. It's the most suit accurate Godzilla 2000 we have. It's better than the 30 centimeters, so it's definitely a awesome figure. 25 centimeter line has really gotten really good, but to be honest, so has all the X Plus stuff. In my opinion, X Plus has really stepped up their game over the last couple years for sure. Those look pretty good together, my opinion. Alrighty, we'll do some closing comments, and I'll be right back. Alright everybody, I'm back. Closing thoughts on this figure. It is a pretty good figure. Really good, actually. I love it. I love that movie. Movie's in my top 5 and all of Godzilla movies, probably, not just Showa. So it's an epic movie because of the introduction of King Ghidorah and the reintroduction of Rodan. I would rate this, if I had to rate this figure, I'd say a 9 out of 10 maybe. It's pretty daggum close to the movie. Suit accuracy to the suit. Of course, the puppet in the movie that they use here and there, it looks different than this slightly, but this is to the suit accurate. I think it's pretty good. Can't complain too much about it. I don't really have many complaints on it at all. Like I said, my opinion, this here is reminds me of the scene when him and Rodan and Mothra's talking to them and he's standing beside Rodan. This pose reminds me of that. So that's what when I look at it, that's what I think of. And I remember when they announced this, I remember saying that in the X Plus group. I think that's what this reminds me of by looking at it. It's a really awesome figure. Really nicely done. Nice detail on the skin, the tree bark skin. Nice details with the dorsal plates. I remember when it was coming out, people thought the dorsal plates looked small, but I think that they're just right. They look really good to me. So, but I love the position and the way he's standing and everything. And really in the movie, in a lot of the movie, he was kind of like this. So more upright, it seemed like. So I just watched the movie this morning. So it's definitely a nice figure, though. I would definitely recommend it to anyone that don't have it. I don't know what the availability is. I'm guessing it's probably pretty much sold out, but I don't know. I mean, you could check with Awesome Collector or Flossie's Gifts. They may have extra. I don't know. I got mine through Flossie's Gifts and John Stanowski, so I wanted to thank him for this as well. But I really would recommend this figure if you're a Showa fan, for sure. I will bring the camera closer momentarily for a closer look at this guy. I want to thank everybody for their time and watching and supporting my channel. And this is Phil the Kaiju King signing off from my collection room in Greater Cincinnati, and you all have a very wonderful day.